Hey friends, I am back. I know, it has been a while, and I'm going to explain why I've been gone for the past 3 weeks in a scrappy chat that's going to come out this week. I promise you, I'll explain all of that. This layout actually has something to do with it. This layout's called Back in Business. I'm showing you all the materials that I'm using here. A lot of these things, actually every single thing that I use for this video is from my stash. And the scrap pieces of paper that I use, I just pulled out, well actually they're just kind of laying on my desk. So let me explain first what I'm doing, and then I'll talk briefly about why I've been gone for a little bit. So I'm taking an 8.5 by 11 piece of gray cardstock, and what I want to do is I want to layer some scrap pieces of paper that I had hanging out on my desk from another project. And instead of putting those papers back into my scrap drawer, I thought, you know what, let me make a quick layout with these scrap papers. So what do I like doing? I love layering, and so that's what I'm going to get ready to do. I'm going to first mount my photo on a piece of white cardstock. Then I'm going to create a photo layer using those scrap pieces of paper. There's also a ticket that was laying out on my desk, as well as a tag from a previous kit that I had put together for another project. So as I mentioned, this layout's called Back in Business. If you have been following me for some time, then you know that I started my business back in 2016, Victoria Marie Designs. And in 2017, about spring, I had to find a daytime sort of part-time gap job because we ran into some financial crises that happened all of a sudden. Totally wasn't planned. We were not prepared for it, at least not for as big as it ended up being. And so I ended up having to take a job. Well, I've been working my business part-time since that occurred. And I also had this side hustle that I was doing. And up until recently, I decided, you know what, I need to focus on my business. We're okay now. And so I can go back to working my business full-time. So I will discuss all that in great detail in my scrappy chat. But this layout is all about several months of me sort of struggling through trying to not only own a business, but also work full-time, well, semi-full-time, and how tough that was. But I'm back in business full-time, and I'm really, really excited about it because now I can start focusing on all of those projects that I had planned for this year and for next year, and giving you guys the good content that you have come to enjoy. So I apologize for my absence. There's a really good reason for it, and I'll explain more on my scrappy chat this week. Once I got my photo layered up, I'm ready to work on my title. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this LE Studio Stanley Alpha set. I'm going to spell out the words back in, and then for the word business, I'm going to use a Thicker's letter font. So I'm going to go ahead and use some black archival ink. I'm trying to decide where I want to put the title. I thought putting it at the bottom might be a little bit too heavy. Then I thought about separating the words, but ultimately I'm going to put it underneath the photo. There I am stamping the word in. Now, I thought about leaving it just the way it is, but I want to add a tiny bit more color, kind of bring more of that pink through. So I'm going to grab some Distress Oxide ink. This is new from Ranger. I absolutely love this product. And this color, I believe, is called Worn Lipstick. And what I want to do is take my paint pen. I'm going to paint in these letters. This is a great way to not only use up this type of product, particularly if you're not quite the mixed media type, but you really like mixed media products. Distress inks are a mixed media product, and they're fantastic, but you can use them for coloring as well. So I'm adding a little bit more interest to this stamped title. So I'm coloring these in, and once that oxide ink hits water, once you add water to it, what it does is it will oxidize, and it'll give you a really cool light and chalky look to your project, which I absolutely love. I'm adding a little bit more water there to my acrylic block with that product. I'm going to sprinkle it on. So I'm going to lean, or kind of tilt rather, my acrylic block, and I'm just sprinkling on that product right on my page. That's a really good way to sort of control your sprinkles on your scrapbook page. Now I'm going to add my letters from this Thicker's font set, and I'm going to spell out the word business, and that's a black sort of glittery font, really pretty, and the title looks really good. I like using more than one font and more than one color in my title. So now I want to put the date, and I have this LE Studio stamp. It's sort of a small dated stamp set, and I love it. It's one of my favorites. And of course, true to form me, I always want to put something under my layers, so I had to pull up that photo layer just a little bit so I can add the date with this stamp set. And it has a block there where you can add in the numbers in between each of those squares. And I think that looks really good. I needed another black element there. So now on to the die cuts and embellishments. So I grabbed this camera sticker from a little sticker set, and I don't remember who the manufacturer is. I want to say I got this at Michael's, so it may be Mammy, but I can't remember. And so I add that little camera there to the right hand side. I thought I was going to add this banner that says today, but I changed my mind toward the end. So I'm looking at the sticker set again. I decided to move on to a Mambi chipboard sticker set. I'm going to add that little banner that says #happy. I'm looking at some LA Studio puffy stickers, and ultimately I'm going to put that little sticker right there, and it says thankful for this. Adds a little bit more direction there at the top and a tiny bit of pink to bring it over to that side of the layout. Then I grab another arrow from that Mambi Chips sticker set, and it says love this. And I think I'm going to reposition that just a little bit, because I have some Tim Holtz little phrase stickers I'm going to pull out here. There we go. And I'm going to find a word, and that word is adventure, because I'm definitely on an adventure with this business. It has been an adventure the past year or so. Then in my little, I have this little jar, not really a jar, it's a little sort of dish on my desk where I keep some little extra bits and bobs from different projects that I'm working on. And I just so happen to have these little wood veneer shapes sitting there. So I'm rambling through it and I find this arrow and a star, and I wanted a little bit more texture on the layout. So there I go again with my Distress Oxide ink. I think this is called Broken China. Adding a little bit of water to that product so that I can do a color wash on that wood veneer. And it works perfectly with wood veneer. You can use your Distress Oxide inks with that. Now, Distress Oxide is different than your traditional Distress inks. And that, again, it oxidizes and it turns a different color. Not different color, but it sort of gives you a chalky appearance versus a regular Distress ink. So if you're looking for something different, these inks are definitely awesome. I love them. I've been using them a lot on a lot of projects. So now I'm trying to decide where I want to put the arrow. So I go ahead and add a Stampin' Up! Dimensional to the back of the arrow and a little bit of Tombow mono liquid glue. I'm going to put that on there, and I'm going to apply that to the bottom left of the layout. And then I'm going to grab my star, which I need to get more of these stars. I don't need any more wood veneers, but I absolutely love these stars. And I think I've used them all up. I think that might have been my last one after several years of buying them in like bulk. So I added that star there to the right-hand side. Now I'm adding some journaling lines, and the journaling reads, after several months and a lot of challenges, I am finally back in business full-time, and I couldn't be more excited. And I am. I'm breathing a sigh of relief because I'm glad that I'm back at it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add this another chipboard piece from the Mambi set that I'm using, and it says hello. I hate using the word hello because I think it's the most overused word in crafting right now, but it worked. I needed something a little bit black there at the top. So there you go, a finished layout all about the little entrepreneur that could. When you have a second, head on over to the Victoria Marie blog, where I talk a little bit more about my venture back into working full-time for myself. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe. Hey friends, before you go, be sure to subscribe to the Victoria Marie YouTube channel, and when you do, click the bell indicator so you'll be notified every time a new video is posted to this channel. Now you go and be creative.